Mr. Dice, the floor of your boat is littered with, I don't know what it is, some kind of black stuff, some kind of, and yeah, you can see it all over. I don't know if this was oil that dried out. Oh, I'll bet that's what it was. That maybe you had an oily bilge. I don't know for sure, but what I do know is that this stuff gets up in what's called limber holes. Limber holes are in the frames right at the keel. There's what's called a limber hole. I'll draw you. Oh, here we go. Here, hold that for me. So let's say here's your keel. And then here's your plywood layer that you see from the inside. And then here's your plank layer that you see from the outside. And then you can kind of see that there's a structural member down the center. That's your keel. All the screws go in there like that. Anyhow, and then you have frames, or we call them ribs. And those ribs the planks are fastened to these ribs. So here's your rib, and it has a limber hole right here. And it has another limber hole on this side. And then all this is frame over here. All that's frame. And you have these openings so water can pass from frame to frame, frame to frame. So here's your frames. You see all your frames are crossways to the keel. And the only way for water to get from back here up to your bilge pump is through the limber holes. And what happens is this crap's going to close those limber holes up, and you're going to end up carrying more water. And when you put your boat up, you're going to have pools of water in these areas, and it's going to lead to rot. All that needs to be vacuumed out. At least what we can see. Ideally, we would take the floor up, and because there's probably, as you can see, there's more out here. So that's probably the same story all along in the bottom of the boat. That really needs to be cleaned out for the longevity of your boat. Now, we don't have to do it. Thank you, sir. We don't have to do it. That's something that, you can do yourself, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. You've got to pull your floors up and all that stuff. So let us know if we can probably pull the floors up, vacuum everything out in a day, maybe a day and a half. So that would add between $800 and $1,200 to get all that crap cleaned out. And we should do that. But if you want to do it yourself, that's okay too. But I would definitely get it out of there. So back here in the back, as we suspected, water was getting back here in the back behind the plank. Water's getting back in here. And there's a slot above the keel. You can see the keel right there, the kind of T-shaped device. I'll trace the outline. So here's the stem of the, where'd it go? Here's the stem of the keel, the stem of the T-shape. Here is one of the these are the legs of that, and then you'll see that this is going way deep. So there's a space between the keel and the transom bow. It does not seem to be rotted. It just seems to be that there's a space there. So we're going to let that dry out, and then we're going to apply a patch in there. And what comes down to the top of the keel back here is what's that called, the transom post. So it's a vertical post from here to there. So I guess it is, and actually, but that's on top of, excuse me, the transom post would be on top of the transom bow, which comes across up at about this height. So really that space is in the transom bow to here. And what we're planning on doing is letting this dry out and then fill that space so that water can't leak from the inside of the boat through this slot and get behind the plank, this plank, and the transom bow, which this is transom bow right here. All this is transom bow, and then you have a layer of plywood, and then you have your plank. You have a 5200 bottom. I see some evidence of, we should really inspect that. I see some evidence here of epoxy, and that's how you fix, well, that's how you do a temporary fix on a rotted area. So I'm thinking we really ought to take this bottom plank, this last plank completely off, make a new plank, and inspect this transom bow and make sure it's not rotted. Or we can put it back together like it is, and then we can wait. You can enjoy your boat until that shows up. Because there shouldn't really be a space between the transom bow and that keel. Darn it. I think I gave you the prices, like if we do this patchwork like we're doing right now, and then if we replace the plank, that's another price, and another price. And if we have to replace the transom bow, that was yet another price. So we'll just show you what we found, and we'll get your opinion as to what you think you'd like to do. I think we can extend the life of what you got by filling that slot that I showed you with my poker here. That's really deep right there. And I keep hooking a bolt or screws that go up through the transom bow and up into the transom post. So anyway, those are my concerns, and I think we need to discuss it, and we'll decide what we want to do. All right, sir. Talk to you later.